Welcome to the state of Ohio. I'm Karen Kassler. It's been a bad week for Intel. The computer chip maker announced another delay on its Central Ohio manufacturing plant, the largest private investment ever in Ohio, and then found out it might have to fight President Trump for federal funds that were approved during the Biden administration with the intention of bringing semiconductor manufacturing back to the U.S. from overseas. Statehouse correspondent Sarah Donaldson reports.
It was only a little more than half a minute out of Trump's first speech to Congress of his second administration, the longest such address in U.S. history, but it had a big impact.
And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible, horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people, and they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to.
Intel is among the companies that benefited the most from the CHIPS and Science Act, signed by President Biden in August 2022, a few months after Intel officially broke ground in Central Ohio. Intel is set to get nearly $8 billion for projects in Ohio and elsewhere, and the U.S. Department of Commerce says $2.2 billion have already been disbursed. Republican State Senator Tim Schafer's district includes the Intel site. He said he believes those written agreements between Intel and the federal government preclude its Central Ohio project from being affected by Trump's call for crushing the CHIPS Act.
I don't know if he came out against the CHIPS Act so much as he is coming out against any future legislation along the line that may not be in his vision of making sure we're making product here in America with American workers, especially in Ohio. My angle is Ohio, since Intel is in my district. I do want to protect that project. It's going to providing, but it's going to provide more and more jobs in our district and all of Central Ohio, really all of Ohio. And that's very, very important for our economic development. So I have no concerns about what's coming out of Washington. Everybody's fully committed to making sure we're making these chips in America, and that is our goal. I think that's everybody's goal.
Governor Mike DeWine's spokesman, Dan Tierney, said in a text, "When Intel announced the new Albany project, they committed to it, whether the CHIPS Act was passed or not. The company remains committed to onshoring its manufacturing, which aligns with President Trump's semiconductor strategy and onshoring strategy. Until a firm proposal moves through Congress, it is prudent to reserve comment until more details are known." Trump's comments and reactions to them have frustrated minority Democrats who say they'll push DeWine to fight for the CHIPS Act funds.
We have put a lot on the line in the state of Ohio to move that project forward. Look, we're building housing, we're paving roads, we are getting ready for a massive development project that will make a difference for not just the state of Ohio, but the entire country producing these chips. As the president said, it's a point of national security as well to produce these chips in the United States and especially in the state of Ohio. It was promised by the federal government. I absolutely believe we should follow through.
The increased CHIPS Act attention comes at a critical juncture for Intel. The computer chip maker outlined another timeline delay on its Central Ohio project last Friday, punting the date to finish one fabrication plant to 2030 and the second to 2031. Neither will come online until at least 2031.
If it's delayed at all, then it's delayed simply because of how they manage their capital, how they manage their assets, and their customer expectations. What the federal government is doing is they are committing, and we have written agreements to this already in place between Intel and the federal government, written contracts, to help support that effort, and otherwise known as the CHIPS Act.
The state has already disbursed $600 million in onshoring grants for its venture. The Ohio Department of Development awarded Intel those onshoring grants and set 2028 as the deadline for when it needs to meet its job and investment commitments to the state, according to department contract documents. A department spokesperson wrote in an email last week that expectation remains unchanged. Sarah Donaldson, Statehouse News Bureau.